It actually resides within you. And it's kind of like your personal GPS, your personal compass home, you know. And I think that the more you're able to reach out and connect with that larger part of yourself, you know, the easier life becomes when you navigate the bumps.
Yeah. Yes. And just coming through, yeah, when times get sticky, remembering to come
Yeah.
back to this.
And we all need reorientating. We all need assistance, you know, the whole time, and it's there for us. But we need to make sure that what one thing that's very, very important is that when you're asking something, you're asking for help. The the answer is on a different vibe to the question.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're asking for something, it's like if you're looking at a piano scale, it's like hitting a C. And when you're wanting to receive the answer, it's going to be on the note that's G on the piano. So they're two different notes, and the G's higher than the C. Does that make any sense?
Mm.
So the answer means that you need to up your vibe to match the question.
Yeah.
So how do we up our vibe? And that's what we're going to talk about more about today in this episode. And you know, we'll meander through the conversation till we find, you know, some things that people can really take away with, and that you can start applying today. Because I think for me, in my own experience, I constantly need like tools, practical tips to make sure that my relationship with the universe is in a constant steady stream of flow. Because sometimes we get all like sticky, you know, as you were mentioned earlier, and you're like, oh, what do I do, what do I do? And so, you know, the more practical tips and sort of things that we can use to make our life better in those sticky moments, the more connection that we have, and there's a larger chance that we're going to hit those higher tones, those higher notes regularly. And that's what we want to practice. Keep hitting those higher tones as much as we can.
Yes. Love it. Yes. Amazing. So how has everything been for you coming back, and um you know, you've been in Spain and coming back to London and
Yeah.
keeping this high vibe.
Yeah. Well, the high vibe is something that I always like to practice. It's like any sport or any instrument you play. When you're practicing a high vibe, I'm a very high energy person anyway, and if I feel nothing short of high energy, I'm like, oh, something's off with me. And that's probably because I've been meditating every day for so long, which just makes your natural energy just go boom, shoot right up to your natural high regularly. And then if there's a little disturbance that happens, or you know, something happens, or there's a challenge or whatever, and I can notice my energy just go boom. And if I feel, you know, that sort of jolt, or you know, in Star Wars they say the disturbance in the Force. If I feel that, I know, like, okay, I have to access my toolkit, my spiritual toolkit, to help me get back online again. I call it, you're either online or offline, and most of the day we're either online or offline. We're dancing between being online and offline. And when I'm saying online, I'm saying you're being connected to source, you're being tapped into your higher energy, you tapped into your natural high, you tapped into an infinite intelligence. And when you're offline, not completely offline, but it's like your energy has just gone down.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not being productive right now. I know I'm not in a good mood, and I know that, you know, my energy is lower. And you know, that's where we start to like try and eat bad foods. That's when we start to try and do things that aren't necessarily productive to shoot our energy higher and get
Scrolling.
us back online again.
I find myself when um, I'm that in that way,
Yeah.
I'll pick up my phone and scroll, and I see myself doing it, and I think it's okay. You're tired. You know, it's fine. And I know when I'm not tired and I'm in a, you know, online mood, then I don't pick up my phone. I'll leave it on the side and check it in a few hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my things that I do when I'm
And,
offline.
and so one of the things is, which is great, is that we all do this, by the way, because our mind becomes addicted to these, like, you know, habits, these patterns of like trying to fill our mind to hopefully make us feel better. But essentially you're trying to fill a void in that moment. So
Mm.
the best things to do is, you know, when you're in that low mode, I start to ask myself questions, like better questions, so that it allows me to navigate my barometer back towards online again.
Yeah.
So, you know, like in those moments, so, you know, like, so for instance, like yesterday, I was a little bit off for a moment and I went for a long walk with a friend. Like it was her birthday, and, you know, I hadn't seen my friend in like, I don't know, 8 months or whatever. It was her birthday. And she said, "Oh, come up to the countryside for the day and, you know, we can we can pick some fruit and we can go for a big walk. And, you know, it's good to get outside." And it was a beautiful day. And on the walk, I was thinking to myself, "Oh, yes, I'm happy I'm outside. I'm happy I'm in nature. I'm happy I'm getting the sunlight on my skin." But my mind was still wandering a little bit. And so I was thinking, do you know what? I've got to do what I teach here. I've got to start asking myself better questions again. And as soon as I did, like, which is, well, what if everything is working out? And what if I am headed in the right direction? And what if the universe is guiding me in a better place that I can't even imagine? And what if the timing of everything that I'm wanting, the universe has got figured out and I don't have to figure that out? I mean, immediately, like the weight on my shoulders of me trying to muscle my way through, you know, life, or through this swamp that I'd been creating in my mind, you know, I'm like, do I go here? Do I have to do that? You know, there's so much pressure we put on ourselves. At least that's my experience. I put a lot of pressure on myself. And so I have to try and I use the better questions to allow myself to go, you know, I'm going to use that universe here. And maybe I'm not tapping in. I'm not getting online by that previous thinking, which allows me to sort of get into the void, you know. And you remember, Amy, you can't fill a void because you're offline. And most of the world are trying to fill a void and they're offline. Now, not to say that they're offline the whole time, but I'm just saying it becomes an addictive space to live in, that void, that offline scrolling, you know, look at me for outside approval, look at me for this, look at me for that. You know, the place where you need the approval from is yourself. The place where you need to get online is within yourself. And as soon as you do, you become a magnet, like a powerful, attracting, incredible magnet, and you're online, boom. And that is when you start hitting high energy, and that's when the good stuff happens, and that's when things come to you easily. But it feels very hard to do that when you're offline, because you're like, I'm not there. So
yeah you have to give yourself that, the grace when you're in that space, like really gentle with yourself, and because you'll come back round again. But yeah, I love this idea of asking questions when you're in that space. I'm going to try it. I think that's...
So for instance, you know, like there's a few teachers that teach it, you know, that where I've learned the questions, but it's actually states right back down to the Bible: ask and you shall receive. So if you ask a good question, you will receive a what? Yeah, if you ask a good question, you will receive an
answer. No,
good answer. If you ask a bad question, like this is the teaching moment. If you ask a good question, you get a
good answer.
If you ask a bad question, you get a
bad answer.
Why are most of the world going around asking bad questions? Why is this aren't working for me? Why is this taking so long? Why is this slowing life down? Why is it doing this? But if you start tapping into, well, what if, you know, there's two schools of like questioning you here. I have here, and I really like Abraham Hicks's one, and I really like Noah St. John's one. Yeah. And Abraham Hicks is brilliant because they go, well, what if everything is working out for me? And I'm like, well, that's a nice question. It's better than me thinking like, oh God, life's dull, I'm doomed, or this, I've got this challenge, I've got this problem, and such has got this, and such has got that, or something's up with my kid and I don't know what to do, or, you know, that thinking is going to get you offline very, very quickly. But if you could say to yourself, well, what if everything is working out? And what if I don't have to know the whole story? You know, what if I am going to be put in the perfect place at the perfect time? You know, that takes the pressure right off you having to do everything yourself, and you allow the universe to do it for you. And the universe knows better than you, because it's the bird's eye view, it's the eagle eye view of life. And that's that higher perspective that is your soul looking out over Amy, going, oh, Amy's here and she wants to go there. I can find her the perfect route, but she needs to make sure she's got her vibe and being tapped in online, because if she is, I can move her freely. But if she's offline, she's not really moving. And most people can get stuck there for days, weeks, months, and sometimes even years, just like staying there. And so all you need to do is just get online, tap in, and allow that higher power, that higher energy, that source energy, that bird's eye view that is your soul, just going, right, you want to go there? I can show you the shortest route. And it does take a bit of practice, especially when you're offline. You're like, right, I'm going to ask a better question. So those are really helpful. And Noah St. John, I had him on my podcast a few weeks ago, and he created the why question, which is, well, why is everything working out? And why is everything coming together? And why have I got enough? And why have I got plenty of abundance in my life? Why is my life overflowing with prosperity? Even though that might not be your experience, but when you ask a good question, you get a
good answer.
Yeah. And most people go, well, why don't I have enough? Or why have I got this problem? Or why have I got this problem? You just need to ask yourself the right question, and then the action will become inspired, because you're using your brain, your mind, tapping into online energy to just guide you where you need to go. I think when I started doing this, it was like, wow, I've got a lot more energy than I ever thought. And this is another one. I'm just going to show this little drink I've got, if I can show it to you, if it maybe on my jumper. There we go.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
This is
that
my,
looks so good.
I've got loads of little green drinks. I always do like a smoothie every day. Loads of good stuff. That was like spirulina, banana, blueberries, pear, spinach, you know, stuff like that. Flax seeds. But why do I make healthy choices? You know, a lot of your body is your vessel. It's your vehicle for going around. If you can put the good stuff in, you're going to have a higher chance of tapping in to that online energy. That's where the good stuff comes from. And so, because I'm quite a high energy person, making healthy choices allows me to be in that, closer to that online energy more of the time.
Yeah, high vibe.
High vibe.
Yes, you just got me thinking about spirulina. I need to get some more.
Spirulina is good. Spirulina is a good one, because it's like it's great for the blood, and clean blood means you've got a clean system running around. It's got high protein, so it's really good for the muscles and rejuvenation of the muscles. What else has it got? Yeah, it will balance the pH levels of your body and the alkalinity of your body. So that's great. There's 3 things in there already that are amazing. It doesn't taste great. It doesn't taste great. I mean, it tastes like, you know, pond water, but I try and mix it up with fruit stuff.
Do you know, the other thing, James, which I know that you have been doing for a long time, is not drinking.
Yeah.
Drinking can, well, it does. It just kills that high vibe, doesn't it?
It kills the high vibe. Well, I mean, drinking, for me, in my life, drinking is just something that was and isn't anymore. You know, I don't want to point the finger saying that is wrong and you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, for me, in order for me to tap into my high vibe, which has become my new addiction, you know, my new addiction is feeling really, really good naturally. It's tapping into my natural high and getting online. That is because that's when life starts to bring me magic. It's like when I'm tapping into the magic of life, and like, I just thought something and then it turns up, or I was just thinking of someone and then it turns up, and I received this wonder. I got a whole bag yesterday, Amy, of unexpected gifts. Like, I got a whole goodie bag. I was like, the other day, I was like, do you know what, universe? I don't want just one gift today. I want a whole goodie bag. And I received a whole goodie bag yesterday from my friend. It was her birthday, and yet she gave me like a whole bag full of goodies. And I mean, like natural soaps, couple of books, some nice food, a gluten-free carrot cake. You know, it was just like loads of stuff. I was like, Thanks. Thank you. So, you know, when you're asking for stuff and you're tapping in online, you know, what I find is that when I used to drink, I would go up a little bit and then go down. So, but now, because I've kind of practiced my energies so it's steadily going higher. So if I fall off and go offline, I know how to get back online again,
Yeah.
which is really helpful. And that's obviously what we want to share with you on the Freedom School, just to get back online when you've fallen off. And then when you're on there, just to milk it and enjoy it, as Abraham Hicks would say, and just appreciate everything you've got. The more you appreciate that you have, the easier it is for you to remain online.
Yes, totally.
And drinking can be like a distraction sometimes if you're offline. So drinking can just go, oh, it's just a thought that I don't have to think right now about my challenge or my problems. So going for a drink is quite nice to just even things out. But if you're doing that all the time, you know, as a go-to mechanism, then that's not helpful.
Yeah.
And I kind of used to do that. That was what I used to do like 17 odd years ago. Well, not more than that, but I quit like 17 odd years ago. I quit a long time ago. So
it's using the wine, a glass of wine, to fill that void.
well, I think that you can enjoy a glass of wine being online,
Yeah.
or you can enjoy, or you're going to try and use a glass of wine because you're offline, and you're going to hope that offline is to get you online again, but that ain't going to happen. You can either enjoy it because you're like, it's a lovely evening, I'm with my partner or a bunch of friends. Do you know what? This is a perfect environment. I'd love to have a glass of wine. Enjoy it. But if you're doing it to try and fill that void, it's never, ever going to be satisfying. It will allow you to not think those thoughts anymore for a bit that have been challenging you, but it's not going to sort it out. You're still going to have to address those thinking. That's the thing. So you can enjoy it by being in a lovely environment. This feels like great. Enjoy it for that. Don't enjoy it. Don't try to do it because you're trying to fill the void because you're offline. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
So don't make it an enemy. Make it an appreciation. And then you can really enjoy the wine. You can really enjoy the bottle. You can enjoy the grape. You can enjoy the smell. You can enjoy the people you're with. But for me, with where I'm at, I'm like, I don't need that. I actually prefer a soft drink, you know. I like a juice or something like that, or a sparkling water with lemon. That's what I like. But, you know, that's just how I roll.
Yeah, I'm just starting to experiment with not having a drink, and it feels really good. And like last night, you know, it was a long day with children. I was tired from not much sleep the night before, and it's a night off with Saul. So, and I just thought, yeah, I'll have a glass of wine. And then when I sat down to have it, I just thought, no, I'd just like some sparkling water. And after that, I just felt so good for not having the wine, because I wanted to fill this void of being tired and done, and choosing that sparkling water. There was a moment to feel more connected to myself, and sleep better, feel better the next day, and clearer and more connected to myself. So
This morning you are absolutely fresh, clear, receptive, amazing. And that's the difference, because if you'd maybe had a few glasses of wine from that state of mind, guarantee you wouldn't be as sharp and as rosy today.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be sat here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
No.
So last time when we talked, you mentioned about you're going to share some wisdom on pictures.
Oh yes, right. I can show you some pictures. Right. Right. I'm gonna have to show you. So I've got So I think I'll just be able to talk to this without having to share pictures. So pictures have been a real huge thing for my life, because when I started when I was modeling, I was doing a contract in South Korea, in Seoul. And I like this place, Seoul, because of the name. I was like, Seoul, oh, maybe I'll discover my soul in Seoul. You know, this is how I was thinking with my young mind, you know, and I was thinking, oh, that's interesting. And when I was there, I had a room for 6 weeks, and it was a white room and you know, pine wood floor, clean and bright. But I thought, I need to sort of jazz it up a little bit. So I got some travel mags, and I started cutting out pictures of the Maldives and these pelicans and things like that. And I remember looking at these pictures, and I got a little thing saying living the good life as well. And I looked at this, and I'd split up with my girlfriend, I don't know, probably about 6 months prior to me going there. And I was thinking, I'm pleased we finished. That was healthy that we finished. And I was looking at these pictures every day, and I was getting this like emotional good feeling in my tummy. And I was thinking, golly, I want to go there, and I want to go there with a friend, and I want to go for free. And I was looking at these pictures, and I was thinking, oh, wow, this is great. This beach looks amazing. And I could really feel myself there. 6 weeks came, pulled the pictures down. That was it, done. About 9 months later, funnily enough, this is hilarious. 9 months later, as long as it takes to make a human baby, I get a phone call from a friend of mine, and he goes, James, oh, buddy, I've just split up with Charlotte. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. He goes, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I have booked a holiday. And I'm like, all right, what have you done? He goes, and I want you to come with me. And I'm like, oh, what? Wait a minute, what have you done? And he goes, I've booked a holiday to the Maldives. And I'm like, the Maldives? And he goes, but I need to change her name to yours today. So please, are you free between this date in May and this date in May? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I want to treat you as well, because, you know, it's been a tough year. My mum passed away, but I really need to have a laugh. And you're the best person I could have a laugh with right now. And I was like, mate, I would be absolutely honoured and delighted to go with you. So we went to the Maldives for a week, and the pictures that I saw, that I cut out of the pelican on the beach, and this beautiful crystal clear azure water, transparent, you know, that was my view when I arrived. And you know what's really funny? My friend Greg and I went out for like mocktails that evening, because he wasn't drinking whilst I was there either, because obviously I wasn't drinking. And he said, I bought this t-shirt, I thought you'd like it. You know what it said? Living the good life. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I can't make this up. I cannot make this up. I can't make. Is this for sure? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And that is when my relationship with pictures, I understood that these pictures were influencing my life. So the pictures around you, when I studied Feng Shui, I got a book on Feng Shui, and I really took it to heart. I was like, this makes sense. Feng Shui is about moving your furniture around so you get flow of energy. But the pictures in your life is what the mind sees. It's the language of the mind. So the language of the mind is more pictures than it is words. So if you're filling yourself with beautiful pictures of things that you want, this will become your experience. When I was a kid at school, I went to a boarding school. I surrounded myself with loads of models, like beautiful women, and sometimes some guys in there, because I just thought, I love the photography. I love the beauty of this picture. 10 years later, that was my experience. I was the guy in that picture with those beautiful women. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, wow. And then I looked at some of the pictures that I had I remember my pictures of me growing up, you know, of snowboarding and surfing and things like that. And that was my experience 10 years later. I was snowboarding and surfing in these places. And that was a DJ and fashion that I didn't even know who that was. But, you know, 4 years later, he was at my university being the DJ in the clubs that I used to go to. And I was like, wow, this all makes sense. So I started consciously putting pictures up of things that I wanted, which is often known as a vision board these days, if you've read The Secret, you know, from 2006 onwards. But it's when you become emotional with the picture, that's when the magic happens. The picture can be there, but you have to be emotionally connected to it.
Yeah.
Because if you're not emotionally connected, like Bruce Lee would say, he was like a hero of mine growing up, you need emotional content, which means you need an emotional relationship between yourself and that picture. Like cut out a picture of Kate Moss in my bathroom, and I put it in Tokyo when I was, modeling in Tokyo for a while. And I go to the bathroom, and there's Kate, and I was like, "Hi, Kate, how you doing?" And I'd have a little chat with her, and it sounded ridiculous, right? 3 years later, I do a job with Kate Moss, and I was like, that doesn't surprise me. Do you know what I mean? It does not surprise me. All of these things do not surprise me anymore. But I would going to say this caveat: do not believe a word I've told you. Just start putting pictures up of things that you want to draw to you, and build an emotional relationship or an emotional connection with it. And you'll know it because you'll feel it inside of your body, usually in your tummy. And if you do, that is for sure coming in. I've got a picture of Machu Picchu that I've had for quite some time, and I felt a bit flat about it for quite some time. So now I've started talking to my picture. Hi, Machu, how are you doing? I love the beautiful weather today. I love the clouds. I love the way those clouds are parted, especially for me. Aren't I lucky to be here at this peaceful top vista? Isn't this just the most beautiful, sacred place ever? And I feel so lucky to be here with you.
Wow.
This journey getting here was so worth it. And I can feel that as I talk to you, and I just talk to this picture that's on my bathroom wall,
Amazing.
and on it I've got enchanting. So it just makes me emote, it makes me feel, it makes me get that emotional content, that emotional connection with it. So just start trying it with things that you want. Maybe it's a home, maybe it's a new car, but most of all, it's got to be the feeling that you feel being there, or the feeling that you feel having that. And that's why pictures are so important. I've got like a couple of vision boards, and I've got little pictures of nature that I love, because I want to keep my vibe going higher rather than lower. So this is a real thing. If you've got any pictures of you that don't make you feel great, get them out of the house. Or just replace them with things that do make you feel good. There's certain feelings of maybe you and your husband and your kids, and you look at those pictures and that makes you feel so warm and fuzzy, and that's great. You want those in your house. But also things that you're wanting to draw in. Can you start getting a picture of something like that? Or maybe someone who inspires you. Every time you look at that picture of someone who inspires you, it makes you lift your energy higher. The secret behind all of this is lifting your energy higher, lifting your emotions higher. And that's how you start to become more attuned to these higher vibes, these higher frequencies, and tapping in online a lot more.
Yes. It all just connects, doesn't it? Yeah.
And so whenever I'm in the, like on my one at the moment, I've got, on my one at the moment, I've got like top of the world. I'm flying around. I've got a picture of the globe. I've got a solid foundation for my best life. Be in control of your destiny and owning your own business. I've got stuff like that. I'm looking at that, and I've got the pictures of the globe, and I've got myself, I just feed my mind the things that I want, So that's feeding my mind with the pictures and the new story that I'm magnetizing in, which is available now. But now it's me getting my energy to the same level from the C earlier, which is that picture, to the G, which is the feeling it now.
Yeah, got it.
Which is what we talked about at the beginning of the session.
Amazing.
It's doable, folks. It's doable, but please don't believe me. Start doing it yourself till you start having that own experience. And remember, some things take more time than others. But remember this: when you use the right question, which is why do wonderful things come to me at the perfect time? Oh, write that down.
I'm writing that down. Where's my pen? I knew you were going to just
say this. I'm taking The Secret. I'm taking Abraham Hicks. I'm taking Mike Dooley. I'm taking Deepak Chopra. I am taking everything that I've ever read, and I'm putting it in a really short, simple, succinct way and Noah St. John, to a way that I'm like, wow, this stuff, it really works. And I have so much deep appreciation and respect for all of these wonderful teachers. And Jack Canfield, the list could go on and on and on. But I've just really condensed it and gone, wow, this really does work.
Yes.
But you have to try it for yourself. This is my own experience, and maybe you're inspired, but it's way better when it's your own experience. You need to have your own experience to go, wow, I've actually got an experience where I can reference. So I want you to give me something that you are wanting to draw in, and I'm going to hold you a little bit accountable. So just think of something that you would like. And it might not be the exact right picture of what it is that you want, but you need to just develop it, because the universe will bring you something better, always better. That's what I love about the universe. So remember, why does the universe always bring to me wonderful things at the perfect time? I mean, what did you write down there?
But why do things come to me at the perfect time? So
Yeah.
to add
How about this? Why do wonderful things come to me at the perfect time? Put those adjectives in so they create more emotion. It's the emotion we're really trying to drive.
Yeah.
Why is everything in my life working out perfectly? Oh, so a lot of people go, but it's not. Well, that's because you're not asking the right question. Do you know what I mean? Why is my life unfolding perfectly? You know, why does everything come to me in good time? What if life is bringing me something even better than I can imagine? Oh, I love that. I mean, that's possibility.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really have recognized, and I've never heard anyone say this, so this is my phrase. I like to coin the phrase from pain to possibility. And the pain can be your thinking, and then I switch it to create possibility. You know, so if you're feeling any pain or challenge, we switch it to a better feeling question, and we tap ourselves in online by meditating, by asking better questions, by eating higher vibrational foods like more fruits and veggies and a lot more water, and detoxifying our body, so we give ourselves a chance to really shoot up and tap in online. I mean, that's where the magic happens. And then you're going to find it's way easier to start drawing in and magnetize the things that you really, really want.
You're amazing, James. You're just so fab.
Well, that's very sweet of you, but I'm just a reflection of you, Amy.
Oh, James.
I'm just a reflection of you, you know.
Everything that you come out with is just so, yeah, it's just very inspiring and uplifting, and just helps keep the momentum of being online. And yeah, so wonderful. Could you just, for the last couple of minutes, share a little bit more about your podcast and how that's going, and where it's going, and what you've got coming up and what we can look forward to?
Yeah, so I've just, what have I just recorded? Yeah, so I've done about 36 episodes on the podcast now. I started last year. I've given myself commitment to do it every Thursday until further notice. So it's going extremely well. It's going like a rocket, if I'm honest, Amy. And in the meantime, I'm setting up the James Granstrom website. So that's coming together. I've got some brilliant people working with me and coaching me to take a lot of my meditations, the short, succinct, sharp, easy meditations. I'm going to take that out into the marketplace. I'm going to teach people how to meditate really quickly and easily in a way that I've never heard or seen anywhere before, because I thought I'd save people a lot of time and grief with my experience of 17 years of doing it every single day. So I'm going to take that into the marketplace, and I've got a lot of goodies and new products and assets coming through, digital assets, which means meditations and things starting to come in within the next 3 to 6 months. So I'm really excited about what I'm bringing to the table, because I'm going full tilt. I'm going full online to help more people get online and upgrade their sort of, software from, their mental software and their spiritual software. So you just tap in, because you're going to feel way better. Life's going to become a lot more fun, and you're going to realize that there's something else going on that makes life way more enjoyable than sometimes the external circumstances that we're presented with. And you just need to know sometimes those little tools to tap back in when you've tapped out. And that's what I've got coming up. So I've got lots of goodies, lots of things coming, and I'll keep you informed as this all comes along.
Wow, we're so lucky to be along with you for this journey and watching
Wow.
you on your path as it unfolds.
My path unfolding. The door's been knocking for a few years, and I've been like, no, I'm busy. because I was, you know, I was offline sometimes with my thinking, you know, I was like going, no, why should it be me that shares the message, you know? And it's like, why shouldn't it? You know, I was like, you know, so can you see, even my own thinking was keeping me offline. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to turn that ship around, and I'm just going to go, look, I've got a lot to share here. And there's a lot of people whose lives I want to positively impact in a wonderful way, and not take anything away from anybody, but only add to. So I only want to add wonderful value, hopefully some wonderful inspiration and some wisdom that people can take away. So it's their life that becomes the teacher, not me. I just guide you through it, you know, because the more people that get to this higher good feeling more of the time, you're not going to be there the whole time, Amy, but more of the time you're just like, well, that's becomes a wonderful place to hang out.
Yeah.
That's where you want to hang out, you know, a little bit more, create a little bit more fun, create a bit more lightheartedness. It's a better place to hang out. Now, does that mean that challenges of the world are going to disappear? No, but it does mean that you get to see things from a higher perspective, like that eagle eye view, a lot more of the time, and which means you're less sort of worried about that Pac-Man view, you know, that 2D view of like wondering where you were, which is where I was yesterday. Like, oh, I've got to figure everything out by myself. It's like, no. You've got help, James. I'm like, okay. So, you know, it's a constant process. You want to tap back in every day for sure. If you haven't seen my meditation or checked out my podcast, please do. James Granstrom podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, pretty much everywhere you can find it. And then, of course, I did give my meditation to you guys on the last time, but just tap back in on that. But you know, for sure, there's a new podcast coming out next Thursday, so feel free to check that out. I'm going to be interviewing a friend of mine in Ibiza who's moved there. Thinking of you, Amy. But yeah, there's a lot of great things coming, so stay tuned, and I'm very excited to share a lot of information with you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming again, James.
Oh, joy, absolute joy. And thanks for having me.
We'll see you before next time, but we'll be back again in October.
We will. We'll be back for more, and we'll keep upgrading our software, so we keep tapping in.
Oh, and these lovely questions I've written down, I'm gonna share them throughout the month in the group, just to keep.
Yeah, just do it. Remember, the better the question, the better the answer, and it doesn't mean you have to answer it straight away. It just means you just allow that to settle in the mind and allow it to fall into the body, and then that's when you go from like that pain to possibility. When it's like your body just goes and that's when you change your vibe. That's when you change your frequency from a C to a G. Yeah. You go higher. So it's always about going higher.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thanks, darling. Lots of love, and
see you soon.
See you soon.